Are you live yet?
Well, the meetup is officially over, y'all. It's officially over. I think these folks might have killed me. Listen to my voice. Y'all heard my voice. I'm still tired. They wore me out. They wore me out.
Yeah, it took me a couple of days to kind of bounce back.
Right. So we had over 100 people. And what were the demographics of the people?
Oh, you name it.
The majority were women. The majority were women.
Well,
Basically everyone was black except for
Yes.
spouses of black folks. Some spouses of black folks were not black, or are not black, I should say.
Well,
But
demographics are always higher with women, for women. 'Cause
and
women aren't scared to take a chance.
okay, but that means the majority of women who came were single, right? Otherwise, there would have been almost an equal amount of men. We'd assume the husband would have come with, right?
Yes.
And I know that we've gotten a couple of married women who came solo in the past, but I'm not sure that happened this time. So, and I'm thinking about specific people. You know who you are. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
but so right, and so it always is interesting to me when folks get into the comments and they say, yeah, I want to get out of the country. Yeah, the melon felon is acting crazy. Yeah, I can see autocracy is like literally right down the street. But it must be nice because, I'm 65. It must be nice because I'm 65 and single and you have your husband and blah, blah, whoop de whoop and all this stuff. Yet, I would say 60% of the folks who came to our meetup are single black women.
Yes.
And of those, a good chunk of them are over 60.
I would say so.
Right? And I would say nearly all are over 50. Nearly. So.
Hey, I don't mess with women's ages.
I'm just guessing, just based upon our demographics,
Okay.
right? Just based upon our demographics. And so, I'm saying that to say it's never too late.
No, it's not. It's never too late.
It's never too late.
Until it's too late.
Until you 6 feet under, right? So, stop making excuses and figure out a plan. Stop making excuses and figure out a plan. And so, because we're going to talk to someone tonight who did just that. She did just that, right?
Oh, yeah. She did the damn thing.
She did the damn thing. All right. Hey, y'all, my name's Phyllis.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, travel, and life abroad. We help folks who look like us, black folks who are getting to be a certain age and forgot to plan. We help them get their money straight so that they can retire on time or maybe even abroad.
Abroad is a good thing, and early is even better.
All right, sweetheart.
Early abroad. Abroad early.
Who's our special guest today?
Phyllis.
Yes. Phyllis has been to 2 of our meetups. She was at our meetup just this week and until last week, right? And she's still here in Portugal.
She's hanging tough.
Right? And she's still here in Portugal, right? And not only that, she happens to be a solo black woman who is over a certain age, right? So for all of you naysayers, all of you folks who say, yeah, but we just took that away from you. We just took that away from you. And we're going to keep taking those yeah buts away from you until you realize that you do have wings. But first, if you're new to our channel, then you might not know. Back in 2018, Rick and I got a wake-up call, y'all.
Yes.
We got a wake-up call. We looked at our money, and it looked crazy.
It was totally out of this world, insane, crazy.
Anyway, we got our financial act together, and we went from negative 22,000 to over 1.1 million in net worth. Y'all, if we can do it, you can do it too. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, please subscribe, hit that notification bell twice so that you know every single time that we go live or drop a new video. And I know some of you have been saying that you're not getting the notifications. We're going to look into a texting system. We've been looking, and I'm not finding one that makes economical sense yet. So if any of you know, let us know. Because sometimes YouTube does weird things, and it happens with all channels, unfortunately. And if you like this kind of information, please hit that thumbs up.
Yes.
We are really trying to get to 100,000 subscribers, y'all. We're really trying to get to 100,000 subscribers because we know in these uncertain times that this is information that needs to get out to our community. There's too many of us who believe that we have to stay in the country of our birth, and it's simply not true.
Yeah. Feel that we're stuck, and you don't have to be stuck.
Exactly. All right. Without further ado, let's say hello to Phyllis.
Hey,
Hey, Phyllis, how are you?
Hello, Alicia and Rick. And finally, I'm
Yeah.
here.
I'm so glad that you could do it because we tried to do this a couple of weeks, y'all, and the gremlins were like, "Yeah, so this is not going to happen.
No.
This is not going to happen." And so, interestingly, I think it's probably better because you just spent the last almost 10 days hanging out with 100 of your close personal friends.
Yes. Yes. That's how I feel about everybody that I met. And when you
Right?
said everybody keeps saying, yeah, but my mind said, yeah, and yes. And I'm still gonna do it. Yes. And I still can do it. Yes. Whatever's going on, yes, you can still make it happen.
That's right. That's right. Because the first meetup that you came up to ours was that was
Yeah, April.
2023.
Yes, the April
Yes, April.
2023 meetup. Yes, because I had came to the Exodus Summit meetup and came to the Move to Portugal meetup.
Yeah, yeah. Exodus Summit was in Morocco. I remember we were stuck.
Hmm.
We didn't have
Hmm.
our cars. We couldn't
Yeah,
go
because we
anywhere.
didn't have our residency cards yet, and just
That's
like we're
right.
stuck
That's
right
right.
now because they're running behind. Okay, y'all. So if Portugal's the place, these are some of the things you just gonna have to
Hmm.
put up with, right?
Yes.
But I'm going to start with the easy stuff, and
Mhm.
then so why don't you introduce yourself and then tell our audience what about the meetup, what you did,
Okay.
what you got
Okay.
out of it, and then we'll say hello to the folks who are in the chat.
Okay. Well, my name is Phyllis Arnold. I am originally from Maryland. I have lived also in Arizona for a long period of time and in Northern California. I currently have temporary residency in Monte, Ecuador. Hello, my Monte peeps. And I am moving and working on residency now in Portugal as well. So the meetup for me was just an opportunity to just be in community with people of like minds. We are all at different stages of our process. Some people were not even sure where they want to go in the world, but they just knew they wanted to go somewhere. So coming to the meetup gave them opportunity to be in an environment of yay sayers instead of naysayers.
Oh,
So
I like that.
Hmm.
everybody that was at the meetup was just encouraging each other, answering questions, giving support, just trying to keep everything positive because we want you guys out of the United States. We want you to a safe place, a better life. For me, I worked at a government job at Social Security, and I got that job specifically so I would know whether or not I can retire on Social Security alone. And I
Mhm.
realized that yes, outside of the United States, I could retire on Social Security alone as a single woman. I have a great quality of life in Monte, Ecuador, and I'm looking to just expand that into wherever else in the world I might go, Portugal being next. So it's possible. I mean, I'm so glad to just be here to hopefully encourage someone. If we can just get 1,000 of you out today, it'll get you to say,
Woo!
yes, I'm going to do it today. And you have, Halisi and Rick are there to help you because we won't say it's not about the money, but you need to know your number. Once I knew what my number was, I knew I was okay. And once you know your number, you can move forward with confidence.
Yeah.
instead of
Mhm.
guessworking. There are so many people, Halisi and Rick, they have it. They have the number,
Oh
but they
yeah, I
haven't even
know.
taken the time to look at the number to see that yes, they can go.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Mm-hmm.
to sit there and suffer in silence, it's just not something that I would wish on anyone.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And so if the money is the thing, if you think that, Social Security is not enough for the or whatever you have is not enough for the lifestyle that you want, um side hustle, y'all. And that doesn't
Hmm.
mean that you have to work hard. We can show you how to make money while you sleep. The Side Hustle Challenge is coming
Yes.
up. We still have a few more seats available, and because we're only taking 25 folks, y'all. And that information is in the description below, and I'll put it in the chat in a minute. But you know, what we're trying to do is take away all of the obstacles, right, Phyllis? That
Yes,
let's take
yes.
away all of the obstacles. So the first obstacle was, yeah, but I'm solo. Phyllis just blew that out the water, as well as so many other people that we've had on this channel of all ages. We've
Mhm.
had someone who was close to 70 on this channel, female, and we had someone who's just 50, solo female. Okay, so being solo, it should not be the thing, right?
No.
And creating community and things like that, we can do a video on that. It can be done. And that's what you got to see, right, Phyllis? Like,
Yes.
um did you come to, so I know you did,
I
did
started
you do
off
St.
with
Anthony's Day or
No, I
sangria?
started off with Sangria Friday, which was the
Okay.
best way to start for me. But yeah, the
Right.
feeling of community, and that's what my encouragement is also. Find community. Anywhere in the world you're going to go, we are there. There's community there. So
Right.
start off by trying to find community. So that way, when you go, even if you're going on an exploratory trip, you have some connection before you get there. So
Mm.
for me, I Monta Ecuador was not even on my list. My list was Mexico, Panama, and Portugal. And then I met Juren and met with her and got a good feeling and talked with her. And I would not recommend this for everyone, but I moved to Ecuador sight unseen, and I've been there for a year and a half, and I've loved it there. I'm just ready to move on to new experiences. But talk about a soft landing, and that's what I feel like in Portugal. I know I'm going to have a soft landing because I've already connected with all of these people to give me that comfort in coming. And also, for those who might be a little apprehensive, the United States will always take you back and put you back to work. The U.S. can't stand the thought of Black people not working.
Hey, yeah.
Tell
So
me about
mhm,
it.
it's it's not And then if one place doesn't work, try another place. Just don't throw in the towel without trying everything that you can possibly try if you really feel that you need to get out and to have. And it's not like people say, oh, you're running away from everything and you're escaping. Well, it's just like, they tell you on the plane, you got to put your mask on to save yourself before you can save everybody else. And for me, my move was so that if anybody in my family decides they want to go, I'm already at a place where you have
Mm.
a resource. I'm your resource. All you have to do, you could be that resource for your family, so that if something does happen and they need to get out, it's not a scramble all of a sudden. Where do we go? What do we do? How do we
How
do
do
it?
we do it?
Yes.
Yes, yes. So you could be that person that could start a legacy in your family of
Yeah.
finding a peace, a place, place of peace in your life and in the world. So,
Yeah. Having
Exactly.
that one person that's done it and has
yes,
the
Exactly.
knowledge of
yes,
doing it can help you along the
yes,
way.
Exactly. All right.
exactly.
Let's
Yes.
say hello right quick to the folks who are in the chat. We see Winnie was the first one in the house.
Hey, Winnie.
Hey, Stephanie, the ABX
Stephanie.
girl. We've got Allison is in the
Hey,
house,
Allison.
and Greta. Francine, we
Francine.
just saw her. So y'all, Francine's a member, as you can see, and we just had chit chat for about 45 minutes before this live. So if you want some behind the scenes, join the channel, right? We've got special perks for those who are legends and things like that. Legends got first dibs on the Juneteenth celebration at Rum and Tickles. Oh my gosh. So we'll talk about that next, right?
Hey,
Because because Phyllis was at Rum and Tickles. Hey CK. A Lee is in the house. Greta Cobb is in the house. Hey, Gwen and Derek, we
hey,
miss
Gwen
you
and
guys
Derek. I
already. Oh
know.
my
When you coming back? When
God.
you coming back? I thought I
Yeah.
saw they were coming
Oh,
back
you're coming back
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Okay, good.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Good. Hey, Ailey, when I woke up in the middle of the night and found out we had bombed Iran, it was times like that that I wish I still drank. And at the same time, I'm glad I don't because the hangovers really suck. Yeah, definitely. Um, it just reminded me of McCain. Remember McCain, John
When
McCain?
he sang that.
Bomb, 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 Iran. Like, are you freaking kidding me right now? That shit is not a joke. It's just so not a joke. And oh gosh, and I say this. Hey, Vanessa, good to see you. Happy Sunday to you too. Action VJ, thank you for always showing up and helping out. We appreciate you. Hey, Cheryl, I say this, and it's just like during his first term, the melon felon. I used to get up every other day and ask Rick, "So are we at war yet?" Remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
This time, I really figured it was only a matter of time. And and I know he's going to say we're not at war because that's he was ill. He did an illegal action. Hey Eleanor, hey Carla. He'll say that, but the truth of the matter is, um, he knows good and well he was supposed to get congressional. So like the stuff is just so off the rails, and no one is saying a
A thing.
thing.
Yeah.
It is like, I mean, okay, he's right. Like he could have gone out and pew pewed somebody on Fifth Avenue and still won. And fools still would have voted for him. They would have said, "Oh, he didn't pew pew nobody." That's all CGI or some nonsense they would make up. I don't know. Them folks are crazy. Them folks are crazy. Y'all got to get out. Y'all got to get out. All right. Hey, Dion. Good to see you. Michelle is in the house. Chef is in the house.
Hey,
Hey,
Marguerite.
Marguerite. Angel, amazing video for the Juneteenth experience. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Angel. Yeah, it really was. It really was. All right, y'all. We love you. We love you. Hey, Killer
Killer
Queen.
Queen.
Hey, Rhonda is in the house, and LaRonda, house sitting retiree. Now, LaRonda, you got an assignment. You got, so everybody was counseling LaRonda in our pre live chitty chat. So, all right, you got an assignment now.
We sharing information. We always share information with everybody.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. That's the whole point.
That's what we're here
That's
for.
the whole point, right? We crowdsource it. All right, Juneteenth, and then we will talk about how you got to Ecuador. I know that's what you guys want to hear, and we're going to take questions. So y'all know the drill. If you have a question or comment, oh, I did see Adelia, our good friend Adelia from Picky Girl Travels, in the chitty chat in the chat. So hello, hello,
Hey,
lovely
Dahlia.
lady.
Yeah.
Where's my thing? Oh, there it is. All right.
With a Q.
All right. So put a Q in front of your question or comment if you would like to see it on screen. Oh, there it is. Yeah, she was sending love to you. That's right. so, so what did you think of Juneteenth at Rum and Tickles?
Um, Fantabulous. That's all I need to say. Fantastic and fabulous, all in one. The 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 feeling of all of us being there together, though. The food was wonderful, but the fellowship with everybody, it was just meeting people that I hadn't met before, sitting and talking with people about their journeys, where they are, where they're going, what their dreams are, and being able to encourage one another. That was
Yeah.
the thing. Nobody there was saying anything negative to anyone, regardless of where they were. If they just had questions, if they were just visiting, everybody that was there wasn't scouting. Some people just came to visit to see if all of this good fun time and fellowship we have and friendships and community, they wanted to see if it's really real or if we putting on
Yep.
acts. But
Hmm.
it was
Yep.
real. It was real. And I met several new friends and stating we already have started talking to each other.
See,
And you made a good point about, getting into what do you call it, where you get with someone and
accountability.
accountability. It's
Accountability.
a good
Yeah.
opportunity to meet other people who might be where you are in the process and kind of set up accountability where you guys get to meet and greet with each other outside of it. So it's always a good opportunity to make new connections.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
a lot of people even had mentioned how, they felt more comfortable in that group, and it kind of kindled friendships that they don't even have in the States.
Yep.
So that was a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
My daughter was there with me. I was glad to have Jacqueline with me. That was wonderful for her to get to see, where I'm going and what I'm doing. And she's visited me in Ecuador as well. And she just loved it. We right on the beach, so what can I say?
Right. Right.
But but yeah, it was just a wonderful feeling just being around everybody, being around Black people who are about positivity and encouragement and having dreams and not having their dreams delayed, really
Right.
putting thought into what do they want to do, where do they want to go, how do I get there. There were people there with their kids. There was some young kids. There were parents there with their older kids who were getting to experience this as well. What it's going to be like living outside of the country. So it
Yep.
was just a wonderful, wonderful time. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all. So we had a family there with a baby, like what,
Mhm.
1.5, 2 years old.
Yes.
I don't know,
Yes.
still in pull-ups or whatever, definitely. And then another family with actually teenage kids,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
maybe
Hmm.
10th and 12th grade or something like that. And so for those who say, yeah, but my kids, you
Hmm.
know, it should be because of my kids. I need to get them the heck
Yes.
out of here. Because
Yes.
those folks,
Yes.
they are cray cray. They are cray cray.
Hmm.
That like, I can't imagine having to send my kids to a school knowing that some of his classmates are sitting there in fear because ICE may come in any minute and snatch him up.
Hmm.
Yes.
Like, do you want
Or
your kids
having
seeing that
or having shooter drills as part of your weekly exercises at school, having
on
shooter
top
drills.
of
On top
all
of that.
the drama that
Yeah.
already exists, right?
Yes.
On top of that. So I think
Mhm.
that's a good segue. So your daughter, so it did when first of all, when did you decide you wanted to leave the United States, and what was the thing?
Well, I started thinking about what's always been on my mind since I was younger that I wanted to live outside of the United States. But when the man announced that he was running for a second term, I knew then I need to be gone before that happens. And then just one day watching the news, and somebody had shot one of our young Black boys for no reason, a police officer, and I started crying. And I realized I can't live in a country that wants to kill Black people just because of who we are. We have no recourse. It doesn't matter where you live, how much money you have, how much education you have. There are people in the United States that just the sight of you annoys them and they don't feel that you belong there. And now they have been given kind of this carte blanche that you can do whatever,
Mm.
police officers can do whatever because they're going to be able to get away with it, or judges and courts and things are just kind of a free for alling on whatever they think they can get away with until they get challenged. But for me, at my age, and I'm just, people are probably not going to agree with this, but for me, I feel like we've lost the fight, because where we are now is where we were 50 years ago. Even though we thought we had come so far, we are not as far as we should be, and people are trying so hard to put us back, to constantly put us back, and we have to constantly fight. I'm at an age where I need peace. I
Hmm.
need tranquility. I need to be able to go out and feel safe where I am. It's like, I don't want to say, oh, I have to go to the grocery store before the sun goes down because I don't
Right?
feel safe in the grocery store. Or,
Right?
you know, I don't feel that I can go to a concert anymore because there's crowds and something might happen. And, you know, yeah, it may be overreaction for me, but I am happier in the life I lead now than I was in the life being in the United States.
Yeah. So why Ecuador?
Um, I think it was Adelia who interviewed Jewel Wren, and I saw that interview, and the things she said just kind of, I got a feeling for her personality generally. She was a straight shooter. She wasn't
Hmm.
trying to be all fluff and, you know, make everything sound great. And I was like, Ecuador uses the dollar, because first, you know, I was thinking Mexico really was my top of the list. But when she
Right.
mentioned Ecuador uses the dollar, I said, oh, that makes life a little bit easier. It's close to the United States. It wasn't a place I'd ever been. So I booked a consultation with her. And we started talking, and I was telling her what I was looking for and what my budget was, and, you know, that I have just Social Security. And she was like, oh, you're going to live a comfortable life on just your Social Security, which I do. I get the luxury of having a housekeeper and manis and petties in my home and physical therapy at home and get up every morning and look out my apartment window and see the ocean. And at the end of the month, still have money left over from my Social Security. So
Hmm.
that was the deciding factor. And I had
Yeah.
been researching since maybe, let's see, I moved to Ecuador in 2024, and I had started like all this research and stuff in 2022. And then just one day I'm like, look, you can only do so much research. You have to get out there and live it and feel it and do it. And if it doesn't work out, either you go somewhere else or you come back to the States. But I just felt that I needed to make a move, because until I made that move, it was all just guessing and hoping and wishing until I made that first move.
Right, right, right. Um, oh shoot. I knew I should have written it down. You said something I wanted to follow up on. Um,
But
oh, I know it was about the money, because this is the thing that so many people, it's the hang up, right? Either
mm-hmm,
they don't know their numbers, like you said before, and
mm-hmm,
that's for a good amount of people, they don't know their numbers. But then we talk
mm-hmm,
to a lot of people, and for some it's like, no, you ain't ready yet. Financially, you are
mm-hmm,
not ready yet.
Right.
But here's the deal, y'all.
right.
And I was watching Rashida, and I don't know if she said this today or if I was watching something old yesterday. I don't know, y'all. Um, but I knew this and had forgotten this kind of formula, and I don't know where she got this from, or this is just her analysis, but it tends to be kind of true. And here's the thing: whatever you were paying in rent or mortgage in the States, you probably could live off of that, just that amount, 100%
Some
per month
outside of the country.
outside of the
Mm-hmm.
country.
Yes.
And
And live
so,
well and comfortably, you
Yeah.
know, live
and so,
comfortably.
right?
And I'm
Because
not a person that's getting high Social Security. My Social Security is what the average amount is. And like you guys have mentioned, I've never had a six-figure job in my entire life. So I feel like I am where most people are. I'm average. There's
yeah,
nothing extra special about me or my situation. I feel like I'm average and
yeah.
I'm doing well.
And here's the thing. So even and people might say, okay, Holly C, well, yeah, but y'all been in Portugal for a minute. And yeah, and we are have a lease that is 2 years old, right? And so
Mhm.
um we're not going to pay what somebody who's just moving here would pay. But so if I adjust the amount that he could get for this and just put it at what I think he would charge the next set of people, and then add on the utilities and the this and that,
right.
we're still at about like basically what our mortgage is in Denver. Just the mortgage. Just the mortgage. Okay, y'all. So I say that to say life abroad can be so much more affordable. And because I know our friends over at Our Rich Journey said that they don't think that Lisbon is affordable anymore. And from my perspective, maybe we don't live like they live. All right,
Right. Right. Exactly.
we ain't like them. Let's just keep it real.
Right.
But for us, they have a car, we don't. Okay. And we choose not to have a car. One, could it be in our budget? Yeah, we could put it in our budget, but why? I don't want to drive on these streets anyway. They got kids they need to shuttle around. We don't, right? And so, and we can take an Uber when we need to take an Uber, y'all. So we say that to say, like, there's that right there. That's 200 of car insurance we ain't got to pay.
Fuel we ain't got to pay.
Fuel that we don't have to pay. And even if you add in the Ubers, we're still so much in the black, right? And then the amount of our health insurance. If we were there and I was retired, he'd be on Medicare. But if I was retired and have to pay, like, God only knows, I think they wanted like $900 a month for insurance. So that's $12,000 damn near right there. So I disagree that life in Portugal is not less affordable. Yeah, it has that it doesn't have a lower cost of living than most major cities in the United States, including Denver. And Denver's not even a major city. Now, if you coming from, I don't know, Canton,
Tupelo,
Ohio,
Mississippi,
Tupelo, Mississippi, perhaps it's not affordable. So perhaps. So was Ecuador easy? What do you remember what the requirements were?
Yes, it was pretty easy. It was proving your income. You have to have at least $1,000 a month of passive income. You have to have your FBI fingerprints. I'm a person who believes in paying for experts to do things. I don't speak Spanish. I'm not going to put in the time to try to translate and understand the legal procedures in another country. That's why you guys offer all these resources, especially with the Move to Portugal Summit. But for me in Ecuador, it was the same thing. Joel Wren helped me find a facilitator to help me apply. And it was a matter of getting those documents, getting them to him, getting in Ecuador. And I believe I moved in January and I had my residency by April. And so, yeah, you pay for that service, but the peace of mind I get is that this person is a professional at what they do in this country. So for me, that was worth the investment. And it wasn't thousands of dollars. It was a very reasonable amount. I think in
Okay.
total, it was around, yeah, this was 2024, but I think pretty much is around the same price. I think all in with my fingerprints and all of that, it was about $1,700. So, are you willing to pay $1,700 for freedom and peace of mind? And, we all know, we see on the American TV how dangerous everywhere in the world is compared to the United States. I don't feel that in Ecuador. Every country is going to have its level of insecurity and unsafe areas, but we're all together as a group there. We do things together. We go out together. I'm not out night in the club at 1 o'clock in the morning. We're trying to find drugs or anything. So I feel perfectly safe going out and having dinner with friends and coming home or going to the grocery store or whatever. And I feel safe. I feel safe.
Ricardo is new to this because I don't recognize the name, but he
No.
says, nice. But what happens when things go wrong? I'm not sure what you're talking about because things go wrong everywhere.
Right.
When your home gets broken into, That happens everywhere. When you get attacked or assaulted, that's more likely to happen in the United States, uh, because Portugal is the sixth safest country in the world, Ricardo. And with a name like Ricardo, you should know that.
Well, and
Um,
I mean, I've been gone out of. I live in a building that has security, so I feel safe there. But I don't worry about when I'm gone, someone breaking into my place. I come back to the States for periods of time, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever, and I go home. Everything's just like I left it. So
and what city are you in?
I'm in Manta or Manta,
MT,
Manta, which is a
yeah,
coastal city, yeah, on the Pacific coast of Ecuador.
Okay. And I bet you, like, if I look that up in the Earth Awaits, it's safer than New York City.
Yeah, I don't know because
I
I
bet
don't
you.
do
I
this
bet you
type of
because,
research like I probably should.
like, I might just do that. But like,
Yeah.
okay. And then what happens if you need immediate hospitalization? Like, seriously, contemplate. I don't
Well,
know who this person is, but like, here's the thing. I want you to tell how it is in Ecuador, but like, healthcare in most places where Americans would want to go, um, is as good as, if not better than, the United States. That's number one, and then number two, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be more affordable as well.
mhm. Yes, I had knee replacement surgery in the US before I moved to Ecuador. I had knee replacement surgery. I was going to physical therapy and I was telling the doctor that I was feeling pain in this particular area of my knee. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, it'll be fine when you do your physical therapy." And I told the physical therapist this as well. "Oh, yeah, it'll go away." It did not go away. So when I got to Ecuador and talking to Jill, she recommended I go see an orthopedic surgeon while I was there. And I saw him on the Thursday. He did a sonogram and found out I had a torn ligament. And on that following week, on Tuesday, I had an outpatient procedure to replace that torn ligament as an outpatient with follow up care. And I was able to pay out of pocket for that procedure. And it was perfect. It was perfect. He is a very good doctor, pretty well known in the city where we live there in Manta. But he basically, as soon as I walked in the office and I told him where the pain was, and he says, "Oh, I kind of feel like you might have some ligament issues." And he diagnosed me in like 5 minutes. And
See,
I could have, yeah, I had Medicare and I could have gone back to the States. I had to wait almost a year for my knee replacement surgery. I waited from April until December to get that. And I was like, I don't want to go back to wait another year for it to have, the ligament repaired. So I had
Right.
that procedure done in Monta and I was able to pay out of pocket for it. And like I said, then I had physical therapy, and the physical therapist will come to my apartment and we do physical therapy there at my apartment or in the pool or whatever. But it was very reasonably, very reasonable price for physical therapy.
yeah. And I don't know. I think I shared. I don't know who I shared it with, but I'll share it with all of you. I've got to go in for a procedure, to get something checked out. They found something weird. They would not have found it had I been in the States, because the test that they use to find it is compulsory here for,
Mhm.
your annual physical. It was a sonogram. And in here, there's two different sonograms they have women get, um, and that's how they found it. They I can count the amount. I've had one sonogram in the United States besides when I was
Mhm.
pregnant, just one, and that was after complaining about something. So, folks, don't get caught up in the hype and the propaganda of the United States. Okay, they kill people in the United States. Healthcare is for profit in the United States. That means the bottom line is not healthcare. The bottom line is profit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That right there tells you everything you need to know.
Mhm.
So Allison said she asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT gave her a detailed budget plan. So she's now purging her house. Hey, I ain't mad at you.
Way to go.
Right? I met quite a few OBU women at the meetup whose hubbies stay home, but were on board to move. Okay. So I didn't get to talk to as many people as I did previously because there were so many more people.
So many.
So good to know, CK.
Yeah.
But still, I still know that the majority, I think, were single. I think the majority were single. Okay, here we go. I experienced what Phyllis is saying firsthand. I went to Merida, and Greta Cobb was an awesome contact for me. I appreciate her so much.
Shout out to Greta.
See, yeah, because when you're on the ground,
Yeah.
and you can get that help, it does make a difference. And here's the thing: when you are making big major decisions and moving abroad, moving out of the country of your birth is a major decision. It is not like moving state to state per se. I mean, the logistics kind of are, but there's so much more, right, involved. And you need to be in community when you are deciding to live your life that is not normal, because the naysayers, if they love you, it's their fear, right? And so you got to understand that and not get pissed at them because they have fear.
Right.
That's a them problem. Um, but that's what that's about, right? And you can't, like, that stuff will start to rub off if that's all you're surrounded with. So it really, really is important to be in community. And so I think, the meetup, that was one thing that it provided. It had the opportunity to provide for everyone who is trying to make that move and or figure things out. And at home, all they're hearing is negativity.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Let's see. What percentage of American blacks do you think would be the maximum to realistically leave? Um, Doug, I know that less than 4% of black folks participated in the civil rights movement. I know that, right? Most people said too much, too soon, too fast, right? And so most won't get it right away. Right. And then they came, and then once they started seeing progress, right, then they jumped on board. When I started walking for Obama in 2007, right, when he first announced, and I was walking the black neighborhoods, they weren't they weren't
No.
they weren't trying to feel that. They weren't trying to hear that, right?
No.
And then he had to win Iowa. Then they came aboard. So um if 10% left, America would definitely topple. Because they can't do it without us. They think they can, but they can't. They can't. So, yeah, that would be devastating. But, I want everyone who wants to leave, I want them to be able to have the opportunity to leave. Right. And so if they want to, I think it's incumbent upon us to be able to show what is possible. Um, I've never heard of Ya's little flag, but she or she says, or they say, you really cannot expect a quality education from the very same people that have enslaved you. And so, yeah, I don't know if you're talking about here in Portugal or if you are talking about in America. If you're talking about in America, you're absolutely right. And we gave that up when we fought for integration. We gave that up because before that, we were teaching ourselves and having much better outcomes. And not only did we have much better outcomes, we had a bigger middle class because a lot of those teachers never got to work again. So, hindsight and all of that. So, you said you moved to Ecuador sight unseen. We have Bobby, who's probably in the chat. She moved here sight unseen. Did you talk to her about that?
No, I did not get to meet her. I did not get to meet her at the meetup because, like you said, it was just so many people. And once you kind of connect with somebody, or a few people, you kind of hang out with them, through the duration of whatever things you're doing. But no, I did not get to talk to her. And that may not be for everyone. Some people are not comfortable in doing that. But for some people, it's an option, just like we said, if you don't like that place, there's always someplace else you can try. But I
Mhm.
felt a connection in talking with Jewel. As a matter of fact, I was on a plane on my way on vacation to Mexico. She sent me photos. She did a walkthrough of the apartment, video recorded the apartment that I now have. It had
Okay.
everything I needed, showed me the ocean view. She showed me the garage. She showed it was as if I was there.
Right, right, right.
And then she told me the cost. And I was like, oh, yes, please make that happen for me. Can be beachfront for that amount. Yes, I need that
Do you,
now.
do you mind sharing the cost?
Right now, my rent for my 1 bedroom beachfront that I can just walk out the gate and I'm on the beach is $600 a month. And I have a one
I'm
bedroom
sorry. I'm
because it's
sorry.
just
What did you
me.
say?
Yeah, seis. I don't know how to say 600 yet in Spanish, but yeah, I pay 600 a month. And prices have gone up in Manta just like everywhere else, but you can still get a very nice 1 bedroom apartment for $700 to $800 a month
Mhm.
in a building with a doorman, with the ocean view. It is still possible.
See, I mean, yeah, I
And the
like,
cost of, food is, inexpensive. The most I pay for a dozen of eggs is the brown high end eggs when I want to be fancy, $3.69 is the most. Produce, it's very inexpensive. I do dine out a lot. And so my dining out budget is almost half of my rent. But but groceries and things are very inexpensively. You eat, you can eat better, and it's just for me it works. My move to Portugal though is that I'm ready for a change in environment. Portugal is going to give me
Mhm.
more opportunity to explore Europe. I want to have the ability to do that. And but I'll still be going back to Monta when the weather gets too cold here. I'll take some time to go back and hang out with my friends in the warm weather and things like that. But you
so
know,
so you get to keep your residency. They don't have a obligation for you to stay in country for a certain amount of time, or have you
they
already
do.
done that? Okay.
I've already exceeded the amount of days if I wanted to renew for permanent residency. Like right now, I have temporary residency for 2 years, and I
Mhm.
could renew for 3 years if I am not out of the country for more than 90 days in the first 21 months of the 2 year residency. So
Oh,
since I have exceeded that, I could renew again for another 2 years. And if I continually stay out of the country for more than the 90-day time frame, I would just have to keep renewing for temporary. So
I see.
that's
Well,
why, yeah.
that's not
So
bad.
yeah, so I've decided that when this residency ends, I'll be here in Portugal. But you still have the option to go. I still have the option to go back on my visitor
Mhm.
visa for up to 90 days. I still have
True.
that option as well too.
True, true. But I
Mhm.
would think about keeping up that residency if they're not making you, if they're allowing you to renew. Like, could you be gone for? Could you only be there for 90 days? Let's just say, and it still be able to renew.
I don't know. Possibly the only thing I've heard is that you can't be out of the country for more than 90 days if you want to try for permanent. So I
Okay.
haven't heard if
Mhm.
there's a limitation for how many
The
days you
opposite.
could be out. Yes, and
Right.
still get renewed for
Well, I
temporary
would
yet. I'm not
if
certain.
I would check that, Phyllis, because if it is true that you can be out of the country, you just they're just not going to give you permanent, right? Or they're not going to give you the 3 year. I would think
Right.
about that because
Well,
remember during the lockdown,
yes, but I'm actually looking at Panama as well.
do that one too.
Yes. I only want I'm going to be okay with two because the
I,
Panama, I feel Panama, you get your permanent pension out of visa. The
Yeah.
first time, you don't have to worry about keep renewing it. You just have to go to the country 2 days a year, and you have that. And Panama for me is a 2-hour flight from to Ecuador, so I would
Hmm.
still be able to go see my friends there.
Right.
So I'm looking at that
Right.
as an option.
Mhm.
I,
Yeah.
I I'm just looking geopolitically and what's going on
Yes. Yeah.
and staying out of harm's way.
Yes.
That's
Definitely.
that, and that's why
Hmm.
we're looking at Panama as well,
Hmm.
because I don't know what these people doing. I don't know what these people
Right.
doing. What they doing?
You have to have options. You want to have
Yes.
options if you can. If you have the ability, you definitely want to have options.
Exactly. Greta says, I just found out a person I knew from Raleigh is now in Bangkok, Thailand. She reached out to me by chance. It was great to reconnect. Now I have a contact and a friend in
There
Bangkok.
you go.
We are everywhere. Oh, yeah.
Everywhere.
Bangkok has a very active Black expat community. And yeah,
Mhm.
so this is another thing that came up, about living in other places, and do you just want to hang out with expats?
Mhm.
And the answer is no. But you don't want to have no expat friends either who have been there,
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
because that's just going to make things hard unless you can speak the language of the
Right.
place where you're going. That's going to make it. And
Mhm.
even then, like, a local is not going to be able to tell you how to get in touch with the immigration department,
Mhm.
because you got a
In the
question about your
country.
appointment.
Right.
Right.
They don't have to
They
know.
don't have to do it. Like, if
Yeah.
somebody were in America and asked me that, I don't know. I know how to do it in Portugal, but I kind of.
We have to tell them Google it.
But I certainly don't know how to do it in any place else, right?
Right.
Like, so, I think, community is so, so, so important. And having, somebody that is just going to make for a softer landing, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
then being able to have, a group, not just one person, that's even better.
Mhm.
That's
Well,
even
and
better. Because now you can do game night. And
right.
everybody knows spades, right? Because, like, they don't play spades everywhere, y'all. Now they can play
Yeah.
dominoes, and everybody don't play bones the way we play it. I keep hearing negativity from people. I try not to let it get to me, but it's hard. I know, Allison. I know. I heard it too. I heard it too. And it's
Mhm.
like, I remember talking to some of my Mexican friends, and they were asking me, why in the heck would we want to get residency in Mexico?
Right.
Mhm.
I'm like, really? So y'all bought the hype too? You
Mhm.
ain't got abuela or nobody back there you
No.
can talk to?
Yeah.
Tia, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nobody?
A lot of people, and most to half of them have never been there
They've
themselves.
never been there. They've never been there. So Jess is asking, are we going to do another Move to Portugal summit? I don't know, Jess. Uh, Nothing's changed. So it's like,
Yeah.
nothing has changed as far as the requirements and things. So it's like, do we really need to?
And
Um,
would people
and
still have access to the replays through the Move to Portugal Summit? Lisi?
Krishan and I have to talk about that because they are going away by August, as it
Okay.
stands now. So
Okay.
yeah, um,
It's a great resource. I still encourage people, if they're interested, to be able to get that information.
Hmm.
And it
yep, get it
answers a
now.
lot of questions that people have, just basically, how you start. In addition to that, it's connecting you with people who provide the services that you will need as you go through the process. I'm
Exactly.
using, Start Abroad. I'm using Malcolm for my housing. I'm going to use, the Serenity for my insurance. And all of those things are just steps along the way of the process, and you've already vetted these people, so they're good, reliable people to work with. So
Yep.
I think that's a great option for people to still consider And the
Right.
replays are available to make that small investment to really help you set yourself, in a good starting point if you're interested, if Portugal is your place.
Yep. So it is available and it's in the description below, y'all. If you they're still available for about a month and a half, and it is about 13 hours of content. It's a lot. It's a lot. So if you get it, you're gonna have to commit to watching so many per week. But it is well worth it. It is definitely well worth it. And so Doug asks, Phyllis, did you consider Salinas when you decided on Manta?
No, because I wanted to be on the coast where the water is. When I first got to Manta and went into my apartment that night and just sat down and heard the ocean. Now I'm sure people who live in the coast of California have gotten to experience this. I have not had that luxury. So for me, that and it's whale watching season. I can sit in my living room and see whales jumping out in the Pacific Ocean. So
Hmm.
um, it, it's been wonderful. I feel that I have been truly blessed to have this opportunity. Yeah, and just, even moving forward, each opportunity that I have, like we said, not having made large sums of money and have these, you know, $500,000 investment accounts and things of that nature, but still being able to enjoy a very good quality of life for me is very satisfying.
Oh
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And our next place will have a water view. Period. I don't know where it's gonna be, but I don't want to go if I can't see the water. Like I want to be able to see the water easily. It could be from my bedroom or from the living room. Either one, I'm cool. I think
Well,
preferably the
Setubal, I'm
living
right
room.
now sitting in my
Preferably
Airbnb
both.
here in Setubal, and I'm sitting in my Airbnb looking out at the water right now.
You see, now why she gonna rub it in? Why she gonna rub it in? So Phyllis, the locals pronounce it, and if we've got locals in the, correct me, but I've heard them say Stubal.
Oh, okay, Stubal. Okay, I
It
stand
looks
corrected.
like
I won't go there,
Yeah, it's
It looks
spelled
like
Setubal.
Setubal.
but
Setubal.
it's pronounced Stubal. And
Stubal.
there,
That's
another
they be
thing, it's
running stuff.
important.
They be running stuff
It's important
together.
to want to learn the language, which I intend to do. I've committed. I don't even want to
Okay.
make confession on here how bad my Spanish is, but I have committed that I am going to learn how to speak Portuguese because I was watching TV thinking one day I'm going to know what they're saying. And I've never thought about that before
You
Yeah,
because I
start
think,
picking it up.
oh,
You really do start
yeah,
picking it up to
you
understand it,
do. You
picking the
do.
words out. I am no way, nowhere in authority or anything like that. But some things, when I listen to it in context and stuff, I can pick out a word or
hmm
two, and then I know
hmm
exactly what they're talking
In context.
about in context.
yes,
And
in
I'm not
context,
saying that for him, I'm
exactly.
saying that for me too.
Yes.
In context. Oh, Gwen and Derek,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. He says they say June meetup was everything. Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all know all super chat, super thanks, and super sticker money goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Bling. That is our financial independence program for late bloomers. If money is the thing, if you need to get your money together and you need to get it together as soon as possible, we have one-on-one coaching if you want the shortcut. But if you need community and you know you're going to need a little bit more time, do the self-paced course. It comes with
Mm,
weekly, no,
not weekly.
monthly, monthly group coaching. And yeah, and I'm y'all. We were out here in these international streets with my 100 of my close personal friends, and I missed Saturday's coaching. So I apologize, y'all. Y'all think I'm crazy.
It's her fault. She had us out in them streets.
Oh my gosh. Every single day from Thursday, June 12th through Thursday, June 19th, all 7 days there was an event. Every single day for 7 days. You hear my voice. You hear my
You hanging
voice.
tough though. You and Rick were hanging tough. I had to
Mm.
tap out a few times.
Right? I mean, we had boots on the ground a couple of times, and the fans and the this and the that, and we're going from street party to street party, and then sangria and brunch, and then oh, the girls want to get some more wings back at the other place. So, and then we're down in Evora, and going to the winery and losing folks and folks wandering off. Oh my gosh, it was like herding cats. It was like herding cats. Oh my gosh. But but you could see what once everybody got to the winery and did you notice, Phyllis, how nice our setup was compared to the people after us?
Yes, I did. Yeah, it's like they got our leftovers, kind of.
Right? They got
Yeah,
short
everything.
swifted. Like we had empanadas and prosciutto, we had
Yes.
all the chorizo and or queso.
Well, all of the functions, I mean, you guys, my hats go off to you, Rick, because every function that we had was exceptional. The service provided by whatever organization or restaurant or business, whatever we went to, they really showed out for us. That you could tell that I felt welcome. It was not a place that we went to, that I felt that we were like an impedance on their business. Sometimes you go to a business, even though you've invested all this money, you don't get that service that shows the appreciation. And I think this is a kind of service environment as well. So people go out of their way to provide good service for you, because I had that everywhere I've gone. And
I think they do
it was
try.
exceptional.
They're
Yes.
they're not as efficient as we would expect all of the time.
Right, right. Well, it's not a
But
time thing. Most
it's not
places in outside the
exactly.
U.S.,
So, right,
yes,
it's
they
they're
feel
not.
you're sitting there
They're,
relaxing, enjoying your
this is the
meal,
time
drink,
to relax, right?
or
But
conversation. Yes.
right, I'm sure you guys saw in the video. So we really, and Rashida was talking about this earlier about like not going with like a gentrifier slash colonizer mindset. Like,
Right.
oh,
Exactly.
if the average salary here in Lisbon is only €1,500 per month, and here I come, I'm bringing 3,000, 4, 5, 6,000 euro per month. They should be happy I'm here. And all that kind
Right.
of nonsense attitude. Um, one of the things that I was very purposeful about is making sure that we were not overpaying for this apartment. And so we saw the
Hmm.
lease that they had before, and we knew we were only paying like €150 more for a lease that was 2 years
Hmm.
old.
Hmm.
So I figure that's fair,
Right. Right.
especially because
Exactly.
it had sat empty for a minute or three. And as
Hmm.
as a landlord who only has a couple of properties, that gets a little ouchy, right?
Right. Right.
Right? That gets a little ouchy. So, yeah. And then the other thing is, it was very important is that we supported locally Black owned
Yes.
businesses. Um,
Yes.
so, in the video, I said Black owned and local businesses, but all of them are locally owned
Hmm.
by Black Portuguese folks. Um, or not Black Portuguese folks, but Portuguese folks, but
Hmm.
all locally owned, no chains, no this, no that. I really want to make
Right.
sure that we are spreading the wealth to the local communities, to these mom and
Yes.
pop restaurants that can handle us. And so Trata Soy, she was so happy that we were there. And yeah, I don't know, like her mama's Angolan. All I know is whoever taught Chef to cook, because he was on point with them wings.
Yes.
He was on
Yes.
point with those wings. And then, of course, Fernando at Soul Kitchen
Mm.
always does a great
Always
job.
best. Yeah.
He always does a great job. But yeah, like she just brought us all, there was like 30 of us there, and she brought us all shots right before we left, to
Oh,
say thank
nice.
you. Right? Well, you were there.
Hmm. No, I wasn't at the wing
Oh,
place.
you
I
weren't at
didn't go
St.
to the
Anthony.
wing
That's
place.
right. You weren't at
No,
the wing
I
place.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, you were there. That's right. You started with sangria the next day. So yeah, she
Yes.
brought us all out shots. 30 shots out
Mm.
there, right? I mean, and thanking us
Mhm.
for entrusting our time and our bellies with her, and that's Portugal. That really is Portugal. So Let's get back on track. Elise says, did you have to pay for Medicare as well as health insurance in Ecuador?
I do continue to pay my Medicare in the States. As someone who has worked for Social Security, I know that if you don't pay your Medicare and you find yourself back in the United States, you are assessed a 10% penalty for every year you did not have it, plus whatever the current Medicare premium is. So if you don't know for certain that you'll never go back to the United States, I would suggest keeping your Medicare. My medical expenses in Ecuador have been such that I have been able to pay out of pocket for any procedures outside of the knee procedure I had. I've had a doctor that came to the house to give me treatment. I've gone to a clinic where I had blood work, saw the doctor, got prescriptions, and saw the doctor twice actually, and got prescriptions and blood work, and that bill was less than $200 in total.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually will just pay out of pocket, but you can purchase health insurance as well. Health insurance policies, I think, range on average. Most of the people in my group that I talk to, I think they're paying anywhere from maybe $50 to $90 a month for a high-end policy that allows them access to a private hospital. But a large majority of people just pay out of pocket because, first of all, you don't need prescriptions for a lot of medications. You can just go to the store and buy them. Even some of the medications in the states that we have to have prescriptions for, you can just take that bottle to the pharmacy. If it's something they carry, you can buy it right uh, through the pharmacist. And
Yeah.
you don't have to over purchase medication. Like if a doctor prescribes you 7 of something, you can go to the pharmacy and buy just 7 instead of a box of 15. And so that's another
Ah,
cost saving as well.
yeah. Here in Portugal, you have to have private insurance to even apply for the visa, and the price is about the same as what Phyllis said.
Okay.
About 90
Right.
per person per month.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and um, and still, we still see the before price, like the
Mm-hmm.
procedure that I have to get without insurance is €3,400.
Okay.
It would probably be 10,000 in the states,
Oh yeah, easily.
right? Because we're talking
Mhm.
about anesthesia and all that stuff.
And you pay
And
hundreds of dollars copay before that, even with insurance.
exactly, right?
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah,
And Rick, we keep Rick's Medicare too.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah,
if there's still Medicare when I'm 65, then I will do the same, unless I know by then that we ain't going back. Like I know
right.
because there's like very little to go back to. So
Hmm.
you know, thank you, Dennis. Does the
Oh, thank you,
end
Dennis.
does this end the MAGA regime? Another disaster, more death, oil price hikes on top of tariffs, deportations. This is the evil, transformative legacy he wanted, all because of racism, arrogance, and
Hmm.
ignorance, courtesy of
White
white
America.
America. Thank you,
Hmm.
Dennis. You are absolutely right. Like, it's kind of interesting, y'all. Like, whether it's the end of MAGA or not, the damage has been done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we cannot put that genie
that
back in the box.
genie's
Dennis,
out the
we thank
bottle.
you
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
much for the donation. You are always so consistent, and we appreciate it. Our community appreciates it. And as we said, all money goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Blank. um but yeah, like, you can't put that genie back in the box.
Yep. Yep.
And I hope, what the hope is that, yeah, that there is enough of the base that are pissed off at him, because they're the ones who are going to have to arm up and go take their behinds over to Iran, right? um that
Hmm.
they are so pissed off that they turn on him. We better hope that that's the case, because that's the
Hmm.
only thing that's going to make those feckless, spineless, uh, 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 GOP and the Dems too get a
Hmm.
clue and stand up and stop putting up with this autocratic crap. Oh, they are so feckless. I'm so tired of the majority of them. There's like 3 to
Hmm.
10 of them that are trying to do their jobs, and the establishments keep beating them down, beating them down. Jasmine Crockett was trying to get head of communications for the party. I think they gave it to that chick who did the rebuttal after the State of the Union. Really? Really? Are y'all that stupid? Y'all don't want no attention. Y'all don't want no young people. Y'all want to keep losing. That's what y'all want to do. So, black folks, Superman ain't coming. You have to be
Yeah.
your own Superman,
Yep.
right? Right? Um, so Phyllis, are you? Is this it? Are you here? Are you going back to Ecuador?
Oh, you mean right now?
Uh huh.
Right? Yes, I'm going. Well, I'm going back to the U.S. to California for my VSF appointment, and then
Uh,
I'm going back to Ecuador. But I have what my permanent return ticket, so I am expecting everything to go well. I am manifesting success, and hopefully before the year is over, I'll be here with you all.
you
Oh,
know,
awesome.
I wonder if you could have gone
Do it in Ecuador?
to do it in Ecuador.
I could have, but in talking with Thought Abroad, they recommended I do it in the States, in California, because the persons in Ecuador, they don't know them, they don't work with them, so they don't know if there could possibly be some glitch or whatever. And since I'm but California being my home state, there, San Francisco was going to be good for me to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you don't have residency in California anymore, do you?
No, I'm still a resident of California. That's my residential state. Yes.
Are you going to change that?
No, because because California does not look at my investment account as part of my financial income. They look at what my Social Security is only as
Oh,
my
okay.
income. So by California standards, I'm poor and they need to help me. So they pay my Medicare premiums for me.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
Gotta love a blue state.
Yeah.
Gotta
And
love a
that's
blue
something too
state.
some people might not be aware of. If even if you have investment accounts and other types of resources, if you're not pulling money out from those, which would then be taxable, California only looks at your income from Social Security, and maybe you could possibly be eligible to have Medicare premiums covered as well.
Yeah.
I happened
Check,
to run
check
across
into
an
that, y'all.
article or something. Yeah, I ran across an article or something. I don't know what happened. Maybe I went to the doctor and they had a little card or something in the office, but there was an organization called High Cap in my county in California that offered a Medicare program when you could go and have questions and all of that. And when I went there and started talking to them, and they were talking about, yeah, we only look at certain things. And I applied and I got approved. So the state of
wow.
California covers my Medicare, so the amount of taxes I pay in California is less than what they pay out in my Medicare. And if you're somebody in California who needs other services, if I was actually living still physically in California, they say I'm eligible for like food stamps and other, public resources that I don't take advantage of because I really don't need it. But if you are someone who might be, someone who needs those services, definitely don't pass up that opportunity to take advantage because you paid for those programs through your tax dollars.
Huh.
I gotta look at my mom's stuff because I know she has to qualify.
Yeah,
She has
she
to.
has.
Yeah. I need to look at that. I need to look at that. Thank you for that information. See, y'all, this is why you got to watch, because you never know where the conversation's going to go or what information you guys is going to be imparted. She said, "Blacks it, people, blacks it." Look,
Yes, definitely.
um, okay. Somebody was asking, Is Phyllis a member of any Facebook groups for Black expats in Ecuador?
Yes, I am in. It's not a. It's a Facebook. Yes, I am in the Facebook group with Jewel Wren that's called Black Expats in Ecuador, and it has a two, number two, because she had one group, she shut it down, she opened up a new group. So
Hmm.
and that's for where I am in Manta. But there's also a group in, I think Salinas. I can't remember the couple's name that was living in Salinas, and I think they moved to Cuenca. There's a group that they have on YouTube, and there's also another young lady and her husband who has a group in Quito.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't know the names of those groups, but yes, if you're interested in other areas of Ecuador, certainly reach out and do a search for Blacks or African American in that
See,
city, and you'll
see,
probably find some.
we are everywhere.
Yes, we are. We are everywhere.
Hmm.
I mean, and that's the thing. So in there, I know there's one in Bangkok and we were
Mhm.
trying to see if we could go to their breakfast, but we were flying out that day, unfortunately. So the groups are everywhere, and then there's offshoots of WhatsApp groups where like-minded people get together for whatever, and all of this will help your experience and make it less scary
Mhm.
out there. Greta Cobb, I
Right,
see
exactly.
your comment. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Tana says, do you use an American company for paying your taxes in America? Yes.
Yes. And actually, because of my income, the IRS actually has agencies that you can actually file your taxes for free, that you don't have to pay a tax preparer unless you have a complicated tax form. But
Hmm.
I'm able to file my taxes for free. State,
Yeah.
and they do state and federal for me for free. I think your income has to be under 75,000 or something like that to qualify. Does that sound?
Okay.
I think that's about right. 75,000.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I know the free online thing that, the Mellon Felon canceled that. So, I mean, we haven't been able to do our own taxes in a very, very long time.
Yeah,
So,
because you have to do a comp,
yeah,
because you have to
yeah.
do
Because,
both Portugal and US.
well, no, even when we lived in
In
the
the
United
States, yeah.
States,
Oh, okay.
um, because of our business. We've
Oh,
never been able to, and then we've always we've owned other properties too, off and on. So besides the house that we live in and all of that stuff. So, are you having problems hearing us? Can you not hear
I
us?
think I may have. Can you hear me?
Yep,
Hmm.
we can.
I can't hear you.
Um, Did you mute yourself? Let's see. Edit mic settings. Let's see.
Let's see.
I don't know. I'm gonna let you play with that. Um, Play, and we will.
Unfortunately, I don't have headphones because I'm traveling. So let me try this.
You
Okay.
had
Okay. I'm gonna remove her for 1 second, and then we're gonna answer questions. Okay. So yeah, overseas pharmacies. So it sounds like the pharmacies in Ecuador are similar to the pharmacies in Mexico, and where you don't need a
a
prescription.
prescription, yeah.
Here in Portugal, let's just say you run out of something, and you've got your prescription bottle here. Most pharmacies will go ahead and refill that for you. And there's some things that you can get at a pharmacy that's behind the counter without a prescription. Um, but by and large, you're going to need a prescription. The other thing is, health insurance here does not tend to come with a prescription component or a dental component, because it's affordable to have dental done here. And as far as prescription goes, once you are a resident, you get an SNS number, or a national health number.
Hmm.
And so when you go to the pharmacy, that kicks in. And so the medications that, a lot of folks over 60 take, the blood, I don't take them, but thank God, the blood pressure and cholesterol and those kinds of things end up being pennies on the dollar. So you don't need insurance other than being a resident and being on that healthcare system.
Right.
But even before we got our SNS numbers, it still was like, what? Do you remember?
Well, yeah, because they said I would have to pay, but it wouldn't be under my SNS since I
Because we
didn't
didn't
have
have
it
it
yet.
yet,
But it
right?
was like, I know one of my medications was like €8 for something that would cost me like 40 or 50. And then, and then my Synthroid that I was taking in the States for I forget how much supply I had, 90-day supply or something like that. That was like almost $400
Okay.
to do.
Yeah, I remember that. But not here.
Not here, no.
Yeah.
No,
So, so that's the thing. Things are. Healthcare, it always comes up as one of those things. Phyllis, nod your head if you can hear us. Yes, you can hear us. Okay, great. It looks like we can. You said you can hear us. We can still hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, my earbuds died.
I was going to say your earphones died.
Yeah.
Yes.
Batteries, yeah.
Yeah.
But
That happens. That happens. So I think we were kind of wrapping it up anyway.
okay.
Y'all hit that like button. Hopefully we've had up to almost 400 people watching at one point. So hopefully we've got some likes there because again, this is information that we want to make sure is shared with our community as much as possible. And so the more that you engage, if you're watching from the future, hey. Say hello and let us know what is your hang up. If you're still watching at an hour and 21 minutes, drop a heart and let us know what your biggest hang up is. What is the thing that is keeping you from making that move?
Yes.
All right. What is the thing that's keeping you from making that move? So let me just make sure we got all of the questions. Diane, you only asked part of a question, and so I think you were going to rewrite it, but I don't see it.
Surge the border.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. I if there are trolls in the chat, I just want to say thank you because YouTube really loves engagement, and you are helping make sure that our video is spread to other folks. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. I don't know what to say. It's just kind of funny to me that people have so much time on their hands. I like the Yarboroughs. Yes, the Yarboroughs. I'm not sure.
They're not in Mexico anymore.
They're in Africa.
In Africa, okay,
yeah. Somebody's got your number, Phyllis.
I can't see what did AJ's action BJ say.
It says we can hear both. Did her earbuds die?
Yes. I'm on the speakers now.
Okay. Anyone else hear that Don the Con is pursuing a deal in Panama to open a golf course? Did I hear? I don't think I heard that. Did you hear that?
No, I've not heard that.
I didn't, but I wouldn't put it past them to say, yeah, we'll open a golf course for you just to say it.
Right. Somebody said, I was listening to somebody said, like, had Iran just called Trump and said, hey, we got some beachfront property. We want you to build a tower. Yeah. Like, he would have turned on Israel so fast.
Crazy.
And we the problem is we know it's true. We know it's true. Daniel says, very good point about prescriptions. So you're saying as long as we bring prescriptions from our doctors here, the pharmacies will fill them there. Or did I understand? Yeah, at least one time.
At least once.
Right? To get you over the hump, right?
They won't continually fill in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you can pay a doctor's visit, get a doctor's visit, and they'll write you a new prescription.
Exactly.
And make sure it's a prescription, though, that they can get in the country as well.
That's another thing, too. Make sure whatever it is that you are getting is available, in the country that you're going to. And they're not always named the same thing.
Yeah. So in general, we have not yet found anything that is not available per se. Maybe that same brand is not available, right? And then, as Rick said, so that means it could be under another brand. And there's a lot of drugs that are called by their brand name because that, as opposed to what they are, like Tylenol is not,
it's not
as opposed
Tylenol.
To ibuprofen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so be aware of that. This is not necessarily for Daniel, but for anybody, who is taking medication. But yeah, I found in Spain and here in Portugal, they were willing to do a renewal, and as well, and then Mexico, what you need, what you want, what you need. Like
we got it on sale.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, if you buy two, we'll throw in the third for free.
Yeah. Anything but narcotics. They won't do narcotics.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Greta. Yeah, they won't do narcotics. Hey, Felicia, it was great meeting you as well.
Yeah.
Hey, Professor, good to see you in the
Felicia.
chat.
Hi, Felicia.
Thank you for your time. Are you planning to stay in Portugal? So yeah, Portugal is the place, but as you heard, she's got to go. She's still got to do the process. So the goal is to find your apartment while you're here, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And to get your insurance squared away.
Yes.
Now you can get your insurance. You don't have to get the Serenity long-term insurance right now.
Right. No, I can buy like a travel policy, long as it includes COVID and it has to specifically state that it works in Portugal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay, you don't have to start paying that money yet. Because I think Rick and I had ours for 6 months, both of us. And it seemed to me it was under like $320 for 6 months for 2 people.
Yeah. Start Abroad. I've been working with Start Abroad. They've given me a very detailed step-by-step list to help guide me through some of the things I just haven't gotten because my VFS isn't until the 28th. So I want to make sure as I get closer, I can get those things. Yeah, just checking everything off the checklist as I go along. So far, so good.
Timing is everything, y'all, because especially with that FBI background check, right? It can't be too old.
And then it's for 6 months.
Does it have to be apostilled in the state in California now? Oh gosh.
No, they don't do it in California anymore. You have to send it to Virginia. The one I have for Ecuador, I was able to get apostilled in California at the state capitol, but they would not do it for this one. I had to actually send to Virginia to get it.
So, but they are requiring you to apostille it because they didn't require apostille in my day. Okay, so they're still doing that. I'm sorry. Look, y'all, it is cumbersome, but it is doable, and you just go through it step by step. If Portugal's not the place, we have a toolkit that can help you put your plan together. It's the Move Abroad toolkit. It's in the description below, and I'll go ahead and grab the link as well. But yeah, because Start Abroad is great, but they only do Panama, Costa Rica, and Portugal.
Panama, Costa. I think they were working on Spain.
They're working on
last year. Have they started the Spain as well?
Last time we talked
to them, they hadn't.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, so there's the toolkit right there, y'all. Um, so, so you know, if even if you are going to work with a start abroad type of person, and you want to get some idea of what you need now, the Move Abroad toolkit will help you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just
And most
Yeah, no, I
facilitators,
think
I'm sorry, I was going to say most facilitators do offer free consultations, not just with Start Abroad, but some others, like for Panama, some of the facilitators there will offer a free consultation. The young lady I'm using, I got to talk with her before I decided whether or not I was going to retain her. So,
yeah,
try to reach out to, that's why it's another good reason to be in community, because you can
yes.
get recommendations from people in the community who have actually used these people and can give you firsthand, information about them.
Exactly. So, Jess, I believe that the FBI background check had to be apostilled in Virginia because it's federal.
Yes, that's the federal agency that the forms will tell you is the only federal agency that will apostille them. If you need to send them, there may be other states that still would do them for you. But I had mine done in California for Ecuador, but they would not do it for my new applications. They said, no, you have to send them in now.
Okay, see, LaRonda just said federal documents need an apostille from federal government, states from state. Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And there is an online apostille. I don't know if they can do federal. They may only be able to do state. Um, Little Flux says the good news is that once you get past all of the admin hurdles, then it gets easier. At least that's my prayer. Um, it does
it
get
can,
easier.
yeah.
It does. Look, and a good friend of ours, Alex, he said something to us 3 years ago. Excuse me. And he said, because we were having hiccups and stuff too, and we were in Mexico. Remember that, Phyllis? And we
The
were trying to
fingerprints,
get our
the
fingerprint
fingerprint cards.
cards,
Yes, I
right?
do remember.
Everything else. See, y'all, Phyllis is an OG. All right.
It was,
She's been our ride or die. She's been with us since the beginning. We only had a
Yes.
couple of hundred subscribers. And now look, y'all, she's out. She was in Ecuador, right? Now she's moving to Portugal. You see, we help folks live their dream life. That's
Yes,
our
yes,
job. That
yes.
is
Thank
our
you.
job.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you are welcome. It is our pleasure. It is our pleasure. This fills our cup. This fills our soul cup, right?
Yes,
To know that,
yes.
like, because otherwise, what the effing point is it? What's the point?
Right, right.
Just to
That's
get
right.
stuff? Like, to
Mhm.
me, I want to keep learning and I want to keep being able to help somebody else.
Right. That's
I
right.
don't know that there's another point to life,
Mhm.
and with the learning to me, comes love, of course, because any wise person loves. Um, yeah, so the FBI background check is for 3 months. Yeah. And after that, you got to get another one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well,
Okay.
mine for Portugal is 6 months.
They've
It's good
changed
for 6 months.
they've changed the rules
I
because
don't
when
know
we did it,
yeah, I
okay.
got my FBI background report in March, and I don't have my appointment until July, and it's still good. And even for Panama, I think she told me 5 months.
Okay. Well, that's
So
new because
you
when
have to
we did
check.
it,
That's why you have to check.
yeah, because when we did it, it was 3 months. I would always
Yeah.
err on the side of less than more.
Okay.
But right. But but yeah, like, so things always do change. And
Hmm.
I think especially for a place like Portugal, in Mexico, you might not need to hire somebody on the United States side, but I think for a place like
Right.
Portugal, where there's so many moving parts and there are so many hurdles, it's uh what penny wise and pound foolish not to hire
Right.
someone.
Exactly. Yes.
It really,
That's
really
the saying.
is.
Hmm.
It really is. Okay, I think we've done it. Let me look back and see. I think federal documents, blah, 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 whoop-de-woo, got that. Hey, Martha, I went for our visa appointment in Miami, and you're still waiting. Oh, she's still waiting. Dang.
Wow. Oh.
March, April, May, June. I mean, look, we first of all, I wasn't waiting, so I'm impatient. But where our appointment was August 4th, our answer came October like 25th, something like that. This of course was 3 years ago. But yeah, so
Yeah.
but we came back before we got the answer. I'm sorry. I was paying rent. I paying rent.
My suggestion is if you're ready, start the process because every year these countries are changing their visa requirements and it seems to get harder every year. So if you're ready, start it now while the policies and rules apply for 2025 because 2026 could be totally different, especially
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
considering the
Oh yeah.
relationship that the US is now having with other countries. I don't see it getting easier.
Listen to her, y'all. Listen. We're so spoiled with that blue passport, but it's getting very tarnished out
Mhm.
here in these
Yep.
streets. It is getting very tarnished. I'm still looking for another passport. It would be nice to be able to have as strong a passport,
Right.
but seriously. Diane, welcome
Welcome,
to
Diane.
Utopia. We get together before we go live. So all members, we get together before we go live on a private Zoom where we just chitty chat. No lights, no nothing, just behind the scenes. So look out for that in the community tab. Um, and Rhonda says, do not notarize the FBI report.
No.
No.
No,
A
no,
notary
no
is much
notaries.
different than an apostille, y'all.
Right.
Okay. Um, all right. Thank you, Action VJ, for posting the resources. If you need our Ready to Retire toolkit, he just put it in the chat. It's also in the description below. Our Move Abroad toolkit has been in the chat and is in the description below. If you want to get in on the Move to Portugal Summit replays, they are still available for about a month and a half. That too is in the description below. But if money is the thing, we still have a few seats available for our side hustle challenge. That is the first thing in the description below. And it's a 10-week challenge. We will meet every other Saturday, and you will have assignments, and we will take you from idea to money in 10 weeks.
Let me see
In
what
10 weeks. All right. Unless you're trying to do a prototype, we will take you to prototype. But hopefully you're not trying to do that because it's hard to do manufacturing in your sleep. Okay. So we want to show you how you can make money in your sleep with the knowledge that you already have. I received that, Greta Cobb. I received that. I received that. I'm not sure. I read 6 months, Allison. Are you saying, oh, you need 6 months? Was that what you were trying to say? Okay, apostille. No, the apostille lasts for 6 months, but they prefer it not no older than 90 days, is what Daniel says. Um, so maybe that is one of the reasons why if the apostille allows them to feel more comfortable with an older FBI background check, but which makes no sense because that means you could have still done something, but whatever. Like if that gives people more time,
Yeah.
then I suppose it's worth the pain in the butt. So no, Linda, you don't have to fly back to the U.S. to file your income taxes.
No, you don't.
And no, our tax person. Look, our tax person is from, well, she's not from Colorado, but she lived in Colorado for the majority of the time that we were using her. But I never met her face to face. Like I would upload stuff and then she would send me stuff. I did not meet her until I had been using her for almost a decade.
Oh wow.
And when I and the face didn't match the voice, it was so funny.
Yes.
So funny. As a matter of fact, she spoke at the Move to Portugal virtual summit because she's doing my friend's personal and her small business, and she was doing our small business and personal and the real estate holdings as well since 2012. And so then she moved back east, Linda, and I didn't even realize because I never saw her. I met her once when I brought her in to do one of the companies that I was working with to have her do their taxes because it was their stuff was jacked up and I knew they needed somebody really good. But other than that was the first time I met her. So Linda, that's what the internet is for. All right. And so I'm going to take her off, but I just want to say, y'all, for those of you who are afraid of technology, moving abroad might not be the thing for you.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like if you're like, well, I don't know technology, but I'm willing to learn. All right. Cool.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yes.
Right. But if you're going to be timid about it, no, I don't know, and this and that and the other, it's going to be very, very hard for you out in these international streets. Everybody uses WhatsApp. You need apps for everything. And plus the translation and the navigation, right?
Yeah, navigation is
right?
very important.
And changing SIM cards or getting an eSIM and just learning how to do all of that stuff, y'all. You cannot be afraid of it, okay? And Linda, this is not directed at you because this might not have anything to do with why you asked the question, but that's what it reminded me of. I will feel better. Is this, I have no fever, nothing, no aches, nothing. It's just nasal drip. So, all right. I think we did it. Oh, yay, Carnita. Let's celebrate. Hello, fam from Merida, Mexico, where I celebrated a birthday, Juneteenth, and No King's Day. We had some of the folks, right? Some of the folks from the meetup. So I went to a birthday party on Friday and was talking to some of the Dems abroad. And they said they met some of the folks from the meetup who went down to the No Kings protest here in Lisbon.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so we were everywhere, y'all. We were everywhere, all up around through Lisbon, from Lisbon to Setúbal to Sintra and everything in between. Greta is absolutely right. Embrace technology and just Google it, right? ChatGPT it, right? Look, we want no excuses. Everyone who's watching, if you are watching, then you have already gotten past the first hurdle, and that's curiosity. Right? That's right. And so you're watching because you know it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And we want that for you. Not only because the United States is doing stupid stuff, right? And it's so out of our control. We still vote, right? Mm-hmm. I still speak out. I still text my elected officials. I still send those emails and stuff to the elected officials, right? I still am concerned about the country of my birth. It's just hard not to be. Plus our family's there.
That's it. Yes, we have family.
But you deserve peace. Mm-hmm. We have paid so many dues and we deserve peace. Yeah. And they want to get us caught up in this nonsense, y'all. And we want that for you. So hopefully you want that for yourself.
Yeah. Yes. Pray you do.
Right. Any final words, Phyllis?
I just wanted to show off my T-shirt from the meetup.
Yes. The liberation celebration, y'all.
Yes. And it's ongoing. It does not stop until you are liberated.
That's right. That's right. And it was so cool to see all of us at that winery walking around with our
With our
liberation
t-shirts.
t-shirts on and
Yes,
stuff. And then
yes.
some people had on their Our Black Utopia merch. Yes, we will get merch in the store, but that shirt was only for the people who came to the meetup. Those are the only people who had an opportunity to get that. And you know, I want folks to have something special. And by the way, Rick designed that shirt.
All right, Rick. Good job.
Yes, he
Thank you.
did. Yes, he did.
Yeah, I
I'm not
love it.
wearing the jacket,
It's a
Michelle. It's
comfortable.
right
The
here.
fabric is very nice too. Very
It is.
comfortable.
It
Very
is.
comfortable.
It is. It's good quality shirt. And so I don't have my jacket on because it's hot, y'all. It was almost 100 degrees when we were in
In
Evora.
Evora, yeah. And we couldn't open the window
It's just
because they were
they're
partying like
partying
crazy
downstairs.
downstairs.
So that's why it's hot in here. It's like I'm not fixing to be up here sweating off my makeup. So if you still have questions, if you need help moving abroad, we are here for you. We are here for you. We offer one-on-one coaching. That information is in the description below.
Mhm.
We have our Move Abroad Toolkit. That's in the description below. Our Ready to Retire Toolkit. We also have Beyond the Bling. That's
Beyond
our
the Bling,
financial
yes.
freedom program for late bloomers. What else we got going?
Yeah. I mean, we got membership, y'all. If you want to help us out and, become
Support
a
the
member,
channel.
support the channel, join the membership. We have two stages. We have Utopians and Legends.
Yes, yes. And the legends join us every other Thursday on air to speak about whatever they want to speak about. If they want to interview us, whatever questions they have. And so we have those discussions every other Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern time. And then, of course, the opposite Thursdays are our Thursday shorts. So, and everybody gets to join us behind the scenes. And then, we're offering other perks as they come up.
Yeah,
We're going to
more
start
perks to be
offering
coming.
coupons for members and things like that for our different challenges and the community, et cetera, et cetera. Cassandra got me started with this, y'all. So blame CK. Blame CK. She's in the chat. And it
Thanks,
started
CK.
right, and it started with Juneteenth at Rum and Tickles. Rum and Tickles, y'all, is like having a private chef host a dinner party for you, right, Phyllis?
Yes, it
Right.
was just wonderful. He
He
kept the
cooked that
rum punch
dinner,
flowing. All of the food was delicious.
right?
And of course, the community just it was the cherry on top of the evening, just being around
Yep.
community, everybody having a good time. Just, it was just wonderful. It was, thank
Yep.
you guys. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
wonderful
Yeah.
time. I had a really good time this year and got to
And
walk
and
some
he
hills
brought
and stuff to survive that.
right. And it wasn't that bad. It was not that
No,
bad. I know some folks had issues, and that's why I was saying in the newsletter, walk, 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 because I was very intentional on not doing any San Francisco style hills. And
yes,
so we
thank you.
walked up what I considered inclines, and some folks were still having some issues. So, the best thing that you can do is to start walking now. We had one couple who said they started doing the treadmill on an incline in
Um,
preparation of this
To get
trip,
ready for it.
Yes,
Yeah.
my physical
right?
therapist had me doing that. Yes, he did when I told him I needed that. So yes,
Yep,
start now
yep.
for next year. Next year. What's our date for next year? Put it in now so people can
That's
start
right.
planning.
It's June 15th. It's out in the newsletter. It's June 15th and
There
June
you go.
16th, 2026 is the next meetup. But we start the Thursday before that. And Felicia's on point because Rick and I had some oxtails leftovers from Rum and Tickles.
Hmm.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
I know they
Yep.
were better the next day. Woo,
Oh my
they were
God,
good.
they were.
Yeah.
Yes, they
Well,
were.
thank
Yes,
you
they
guys
were.
for having me. I love you all so much. You
Yeah.
have just enriched my life so much, and everybody I've met is just making my life happier day by day, and I really appreciate it. And please, anyone, reach out to Halisi and Rick if there's anything you need. They will help you. There are resources that are free. Take advantage of those. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Someone in our group is always willing to help you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. CK. All right, my loves. We love you very much, and we will see you on Thursday.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.